Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen. For our webinar session today, please be reminded to use the YouTube chat box, and you should have any question to our panels, right, regarding to their topic after they have the ends of the presentations. And the committee and I will be one of to reading them, and we'll try to convey the question during the Q&A sessions and after the speaker has complete the presentation. Thank you very much. And next, this is very important part. So the link for you to fill your attendance will also be available in the YouTube chat box at the ends of the session today. And the committee will pin, inshallah, in YouTube chat box, and failure to do so will result to no attendance and no A certificates. And for your kind consideration and cooperation in ensuring the smooth flow of our session today, thank you very much in advance. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, puan-puan, mahasiswa, mahasiswi sekalian. So untuk sesi webinar kita pada hari ini, saya ingatkan untuk menggunakan kotak sembang YouTube. Sekiranya mempunyai sebarang soalan kepada panel kami berkenaan dengan topik yang akan diperbincangkan sebentar lagi, saya dan jawatan kuasa akan membacanya dan akan cuba menyampaikan soalan semasa sesi soal jawab selepas panel selesai perbincangan mengenai topik, insyaAllah. Seterusnya, pautan untuk anda mengisi kehadiran. Yang ini adalah sangat penting. Anda juga akan disediakan dalam kotak sembang pada akhir sesi hari ini, insyaAllah. Kegagalan berbuat demikian akan menyebabkan tiada kehadiran direkodkan dan akhirnya tiada e-sijil. InsyaAllah semua boleh dapat sijil. Jadi saya mulakan, selamat datang saya ucapkan. Okay. Indah berbalam si awan petang, berarak di celah pepohon hara, bermanis kalam selamat datang, awal bismillah pembuka bicara, melati kuntum tumbuh melata, sayang merbah di pohon cemara. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera, saya sembah pembuka bicara. Selamat datang saya ucapkan kepada semua yang hadir pada hari ini di webinar To What Extent in Malaysia and Others Country Able to Deal with the Probability of Stagflation, High Unemployment Rate and Economic Growth. Hadirin, dipersilakan berdiri bagi menyanyikan nyanyian lagu negaraku. Terima kasih diucapkan. Hadirin dipersilakan duduk. Yang saya hormati, hadirin dan hadirat yang saya hormati sekalian, tetamu jemputan kita iaitu penceramah kita pada hari ini iaitu Puan Betty bin Hassan, merupakan Senior Director Institute for Labour Market Information and Analysis Ilmiah, Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia. Seterusnya, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan serta para hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, salam sejahtera dan salam UiTM di hatiku. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. Welcome dan selamat datang kami ucapkan kepada semua tetamu jemputan ke webinar To What Extent is Malaysia and Others Country will be able to deal with the probability of stagflation, high unemployment rate and slow economic growth. Kepada tetamu jemputan, saya persembahkan mawar di Taman Mekar nan indah harum mewangi di rumpun angsana, kunjungan Puan Anugerah bertuah seperti bulan jatuh ke riba. Garam ada, kicap pun ada, sayang lada terlupa bagi, pantun ada, ucapan ada, sayang kita tidak berdoa lagi ya. Sebelum meneruskan majlis kita pada hari ini, majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan Abdul Majid bin Razif merupakan pelajar bagi ECO Tuan Wan, makroekonomi bagi pimpinan bacaan doa. Dengan segala hormatnya, majlis mempersilakan.
Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Arrahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Shiratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Allahumma innaka khallaqul azim, innaka as-samiul alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arsyil azim, innakal barul jawadul karim. Ya Allah, di pagi Jumaat yang penuh barakah ini, ya Allah, Engkaulah yang memberi segala kepujian, Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kepujian, Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kesyukuran, Engkaulah yang memiliki segala pemerintahan, di tangan Engkau sahaja kebajikan. Kepada Engkaulah kami kembali segala urusan. Allahumma ya Karimu ya Rahim, cucurlah rahmat dan rahimmu ke atas majlis yang berlangsung pada pagi ini, ya Allah. Berkatilah ia dari awal hingga akhirnya. Ya fa'alu lima yurid. Kami juga memohon perlindungan daripadamu dari segala perkara yang boleh mencacat celakan majlis kami, dan daripada segala perkara yang boleh melalaikan kami dari berbuat taat kepadamu, ya Allah. Kepadamu juga kami serah segala urusan kami, ya Allah. Kau lapangkanlah dada kami pada pagi ini untuk menimba segala ilmu pengetahuan, ya Allah. Rabbana alaika tawakkalna wa ilaika anabna wa ilaikal masir. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Amin, amin, amin. Jazakallah diucapkan kepada Abdul Majid bin Razif atas pimpinan bacaan doa sebentar tadi. Moga-moga majlis kita akan berlangsung pada hari ini dan berjalan dengan lancar, insya-Allah. Tanpa melengahkan masa, saya ingin membaca sedikit biografi penceramah. Puan Betty Hassan merupakan lulusan daripada Universiti Malaya pada tahun 1996. Memiliki sarjana muda undang-undang dengan kepujian, dan beliau menyertai Kementerian Sumber Manusia pada tahun 1997 dan berkhidmat di Jabatan Perhubungan Perusahaan selama 10 tahun. Pada tahun 2007, beliau telah dilantik sebagai Ketua Penolong Setiausaha di Cawangan Dasar Pemburuhan, Bahagian Dasar Kementerian Sumber Manusia, dan seterusnya pada tahun 2016, beliau telah dilantik sebagai Setiausaha Bahagian Dasar Kementerian Sumber Manusia dan menjawat jawatan tersebut sehingga Februari 2020. Beliau juga terlibat secara aktif dalam rundingan Perjanjian Perdagangan Bebas Malaysia Amerika Syarikat mengenai bab buruh, Perjanjian Perkongsian Trans-Pasifik, Perjanjian Perkongsian dan Kerjasama Malaysia EU, Rundingan Dua Hala MOU untuk pekerja asing, semakan dan pindaan pelbagai undang-undang mengenai perburuhan dan jaringan keselamatan sosial, pergubalan dasar dan strategi mengenai sumber manusia dan hal ehwal pemburuhan, serta memperbentangkan pelbagai kertas kerja mengenai pentadbiran, perburuhan dan pembangunan sumber manusia. Puan Betty kemudian telah dilantik sebagai pengarah Institut Maklumat dan Analisis Pasaran Buruh Ilmiah yang terkini. Kementerian Sumber Manusia berkuat kuasa mulai 10 Februari 2020. Sehingga yang terkini. Dan Ilmiah telah ditempatkan di Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia. Buat pengetahuan semua, Ilmiah ni adalah sebuah institusi yang menjalankan pelbagai penyelidikan mengenai perburuhan dan sumber manusia serta menyiarkan maklumat penawaran pekerjaan mengenai job market insight setiap 10 tahunan. Okey. Jadi dengan ini saya rasa saya mempersilakan Puan Betty untuk memperbentangkan mengenai tajuk webinar kita pada hari ini. Dipersilakan Puan.
Terima kasih saudari moderator atau majlis pada hari ini. Boleh dengar ke?
Boleh.
Perlahan. Sekejap ya. Okey. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi semua. Saya tak pasti moderator saya slide ni dalam bahasa Inggeris, tapi boleh campur-campur ke?
Boleh, tak ada masalah. Boleh.
Okey. So pertama sekali saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada pihak penganjur UiTM Melaka kerana menjemput saya untuk sesi webinar kita pada pagi ini. Sebenarnya kalau ikutkan di awalnya sesi ini pada pagi tapi ditukar ke petang, tapi saya telah mohon untuk sesi saya dibawa ke pagi ini sebab saya ada urusan lain di waktu petang. So saya mohon maaf kepada pihak penganjur dan juga para peserta pada pagi ini ya atas kesulitan yang dialami. So tajuk yang akan kita bincangkan kalau dalam bahasa Melayunya yang saya diberikan, sejauh mana Malaysia mampu menangani gerbang stagflasi, kadar pengangguran yang tinggi dan pertumbuhan ekonomi yang perlahan. Okey, saya dah sini dah share slide kan? Ada nampak slide ke tidak?
Tak nampak slide.
Share screen. Okay. Okay, so in English, kalau ikutkan, this is the topic given to me for our talk this morning. It will be how Malaysia and other countries are faced with the probability of stagflation, high unemployment rate and slow economic growth. Okay, but saya akan bincangkan perkara ini berdasarkan 5 perkara utama lah yang saya akan bawa. Sebentar ya. So saya akan, this is the outline of my presentation this morning. It will be definition, scenario in Malaysia, scenario of the world economy, labour market information and also the way forward. So I'm given I think until 1 hour lah kot, until 10 something kan. So I will try my best to deliver. Okay, and hopefully saya rasa kalau ada apa-apa pertanyaan in between tu pun boleh ditanya, tak ada masalah. In case sampai dekat hujung pembentangan takut terlupa kan. Tapi nak tunggu sampai habis pun tak ada masalah juga. Alright. So okay, the first thing kalau kita lihat di sini perkataan stagflation tu sendiri kan pun kita nak faham juga kan. First of all, so I would like to give you an overview of the word itself, that is stagflation. What does it mean by stagflation? Okay, stagflation is a combination of the word stagnation and inflation. Stagflation is an economic condition that is caused by a combination of slow economic growth, high unemployment and rising prices or inflation. Okay, the stagflation normally happens when inflation exists in tandem with slow economic growth coupled with high unemployment lah. Yeah. So dalam keadaan macam sekarang ni, we are talking about stagflation. The second one yang saya nak sebut di sini, I want to mention here is regarding the unemployment rate. So unemployment rate expresses the number of unemployed as a percent of the labour force. So it reflects the proportion of labour force that does not have job but is available and actively looking for job. Maknanya ni kadar pengangguran, kita melihat kepada proportion yang tidak bekerja kepada tenaga buruh, tetapi mereka ini masih aktif mencari pekerjaan. Ya. Of course dalam keadaan unemployment ni, unemployment is highly dependent on economic activity, and when economic activity is low, firms reduce lah dia punya workforce, and also that means that the unemployment will rise. Ya. On the other part is the economic growth. Economic growth is an increase in the capacity of an economy to produce goods and services compared from one period to another. Okay, ini sources pun ada yang saya masukkan di sini lah berkenaan definition yang saya masukkan berkenaan stagflation, unemployment rate dan juga economic growth. Okay, so now we go for scenario in Malaysia daripada tahun 2020 since 2020 until 2022. As you can see, based on the performance of the country economy, Malaysia's GDP declined 17.1% in the second quarter of 2020. When we put here decline, dia jadi negative 17.1% pada tahun 2020 the second quarter. Sebab sebelum tu kita ada marginal growth 0.7% in the previous quarter, but it reduced decline to negative 17 ni because of the pandemic COVID-19. The performance of quarter 2 2020 was the lowest recorded by our country lah since the fourth quarter of 1998. That one pun masa tu kita ada economic downturn, economic retrenchment dan sebagainya pada masa itu tahun 1998 starting from 1997. But as you can see, and then the GDP is on track. Tapi if we see now in 2022, GDP is on track to surpass the pre-pandemic growth in 2022, mostly supported by domestic demand, recovery of the labour market, and also income prospects. And then the resumption of the economic and social activities, as well increase in the number of tourist arrivals resulting from the reopening of international borders. So after kita punya PKP pada tahun lepas, kita punya ekonomi memang turunlah, agak menjunam sikit, menjunam juga, tapi sekarang ni selepas ada fasa pemulihan tahun 2021 dan sekarang ni kita dah di fasa pre-endemic, kita melihat bahawa kita punya GDP tu telah pun sebenarnya melangkaui sebelum fasa pandemik lagi lah, maknanya dia dah ada dia punya momentum untuk economic growth ya. The next one is the continuous increase in food prices lah, worldwide, which have become more pronounced, coupled with the rapid increase in oil prices have put pressures on Malaysia's inflation. And in addition, the increase in demand during the festive season, especially from household and main sectors of for food, such as catering, hotels lah. So this is expected to cause the increase in the inflation, mainly food inflation. Okay, now we look at the labour market. Looking from the perspective of the labour market, the reduction of employed person was observed in the services sector, specifically for accommodation, food and beverages, and arts and entertainment and recreation subsectors during the pandemic. On the contrary, certain sectors experienced increase of employed persons, such as e-commerce activity, delivery services, and information and communication technology related activities. Okay, and then during the health crisis, during the pandemic, we can see that the business and the movement were restricted because of the MCO, and this has caused business revenue to be lowered and gave pressure to the labour market. When the more economic sectors reopened, the labour market saw a signs of recovery lah masa PKP. Sebab bisnes pun banyak yang kita tak boleh pergi bekerja, banyak yang bekerja daripada rumah, dia menjejaskanlah revenue untuk businesses ya. And then as we can see, as physical distancing become a new norm because of this pandemic COVID-19, you can see that industries started to shift towards digitalization to sustain productivity, and this development is hoped to also spur the Industrial Revolution 4.0, where automation becomes a larger part of the economy, and further push for creation of more skilled jobs to absorb the growing graduates labour supply. All right. I want to bring you now to the country scenario of for the recent quarter. Now DOSM just released. There are many releases coming from Department of Statistics Malaysia pertaining to the nation's performance in the third quarter of 2022. You can see first there that the economy in quarter 3 of 2022 this year has expanded by 14.2% in this particular quarter, reflected by the lower base in the third quarter of the previous year. This was supported by the continued expansion in domestic demand, firm recovery in the labour market, and resilience in external demand. The growth was driven by encouraging performance in all economic sectors, primarily services and also manufacturing sectors. Okay, as I mentioned just now, services also is actually the prime movers for this economic expansion, GDP expansion. The services sector as the main driver increased by actually 16.7% compared to the previous quarter, that is only 12.0%. For manufacturing, it accelerated to 13.2% as compared to 9.2% in the second quarter of this year. In the meantime, mining and quarrying also rebound to 9.2%, that is from negative 0.5 in quarter 2 of 2022. So the construction sector expanded to 15.3% from 2.4% previously, and agriculture sector turned around to 1.2% from a decline of 2.4% in the previous quarter. As you can see, the major sectors has increased. That is the reason why the GDP expanded by 14.2% in this particular quarter. As for the labour scenario, the labour force remained optimist during the third quarter of this year, with a growth of 2.6%. If compared to last year, the third quarter of 2021, it was only 1.1%. So this growth of 2.6% recorded 16, sorry, to sorry, okay. So the labor force remained optimistic during the the third quarter of this year. All right. Okay. The unemployment rate at the third quarter of this year registered 3.7%. This is very much lower compared to the third quarter of last year, that is 4.7%. But this is only at the third quarter of this particular year. Okay, not yet the whole of 2022. Okay, in terms of prices, Malaysia's inflation for quarter 3 of 2022 grew at 4.5%, okay, to 128.1. This was influenced by the increase in food and non-alcoholic beverages, followed by restaurants, hotels, and also transport. Okay, and also regarding the leading index, I would like to emphasize on the leading index here. The leading index provides early signal on the direction in which the economy is going. This information is measurable set of data and are useful to forecast future economic activity. We may predict changes in the economy before the economy begins to shift in a particular direction. This is very beneficial, particularly for our investors and also our policymakers. This index, actually the leading index, is measured based on several indicators such as money supply, the Bursa Malaysia Index, total traded, CPI, material price index, as well as the number of new companies registered. For your information, the leading index in September 2022 recorded an increase of 0.3% to register 109.9 points, where in September of last year is actually 109.6 points. 109.6 points. Hence, Malaysia's economy is expected to be on track despite the uncertainty of the global economy. And I have to tell you that the increase was mainly supported by the number of housing units approved and real imports of other basic precious and other non-ferrous metals. Next, I would like to share with you the economic growth situation in Malaysia. You can see here from the slide that Malaysia's economy, as I mentioned earlier before, contracted by 17.1% in quarter 2 of 2020. That is during the pandemic season. You can see here quarter 2 of 2020 is negative 17.1. Okay. It was reflected by the unprecedented pandemic, which lockdowns were imposed and everything. However, you can see the economy expanded by 14.2% in the third quarter of this year. Okay. It was reflected by the lower base in the third quarter of the previous year, and this was supported by the continued expansion in domestic demand, a firm recovery in the labor market, and also a resilient external demand. The growth was driven by encouraging performance in all economic sectors, mainly services and also manufacturing. Okay. This is the unemployment situation in Malaysia. All right. Due to the spread of COVID-19, followed by the extension of MCO during the quarter of 2020, unemployed persons grew to 52.1% year-on-year to 792,000 in quarter 2 of 2020, okay, during the pandemic. Consequently, the unemployment rate went up by 1.8% from quarter 2 of 2020 to 5.1%. The unemployment rate of youth is actually always higher compared to the national unemployment rate. For 2019, actually quarter 2 of 2019, the unemployment rate for youth was actually 10.4%, and this increased to 12.5% in quarter 2 of 2020, further increase in the quarter 2 of 2020 during the pandemic session. So moving to 2022, the third quarter of 2022, the number of unemployed persons declined by 18%, or equivalent to a reduction of 134,400 people to record 611,000 unemployed persons. This is very far below compared to the 792,000 of unemployed persons during the year 2020. Okay, and according to the situation, the number and rate of employment in this quarter are slowly returning to how it was before the pandemic. Okay, as for the distribution by sex, male made up more than half of total unemployment, that is 59.8%, as opposed to 40.2% of female unemployed persons. So if you compare to the quarter 3 of last year, the number of male unemployed persons declined by 16.3% to 365,000. Besides, the female unemployed persons have experienced a significant loss of 20.5% to 246,000 persons for this year. Next is the price situation. This is overall situation on Malaysia. As I mentioned earlier, the price, economic, whatnot, labor market. The price situation for Malaysia. Malaysia's inflation for the third quarter of 2022 grew at 4.5%. You can see here 4.5% to 128.1 points as compared to 122.6 in quarter 3 of 2021 last year. This was influenced by the increase in food and non-alcoholic beverages, followed by restaurants and hotels and also transport. On the monthly basis, the increase in Malaysia's inflation in September was attributed to the lower base effect in 2021 due to the electricity bill discount given to domestic consumers up until September 2022. Furthermore, the average price in unleaded petrol, RON 97, increased by 52.4% to RM4.16 per litre as compared to RM2.73 in the same month of the preceding year. And for your information also, food inflation is expected to be in an upward trend for the next few months due to the increase in food away from home, which was in line with the rise in food items such as noodles, wheat flour, chicken, and also eggs. Okay. I've shown to the audience on the initiative strategies, the economic situation that is happening in Malaysia. But now I'm going to move into what are the initiative strategies that is being implemented by Malaysia, especially by the government of Malaysia. There are various initiatives and so strategies being implemented by the government to curb the situation in Malaysia. As you can see, the first one, through the government policies and initiatives such as National Economic Recovery Plan and also the wage subsidy program ataupun program subsidi upah yang diperkenalkan di bawah Kementerian Sumber Manusia. And then also there are several grants and also financing programs partly contributed to the increase in median and mean monthly wages and salaries. And then we also have the 12 Malaysia Plan ataupun rancangan Malaysia ke-12 yang kita mensasarkan apa yang perlu dilaksanakan untuk tempoh sehingga tahun 2025. Ini adalah rancangan Malaysia ke-12. Jadi kita melihat kepada what is the economic situation, so what are the steps to be taken for Malaysia to achieve certain target by 2025. And also in addition, there are also various initiatives focusing on the labour market. The government provide talent training programs such as reskill, upskilling, and also to top up the skills in critical high skill and also high value areas. And then I think last but not least, we also aware in this about the bantuan sara hidup is given to our citizens. Is actually bantuan sara hidup is actually an aid intended for certain categories, especially for the B40 categories lah, of receivers from the government. So BSH is given in cash to the qualified receivers according to a set of criteria that has been announced by the government. Besides these holistic initiatives, there are also other initiatives and strategies done back into 2020. As you can see, during this time, we are faced with very slow economic activities. Some are stagnant, and that's the reason why the government embarked on program subsidi upah using the vehicle of employment insurance system under Pertubuhan Keselamatan Sosial under Kementerian Sumber Manusia. There is program subsidi upah 1.0, 2.0 with certain allocation as I put in here in the slides, and you can see also the number of employees that have benefited from these particular programs, and also the employers that have benefited from these particular programs. We have also the hiring incentive and program and also training for employees, also with for person with disabilities and as well as apprentice. And for the tourism sector, the government has provided Penjana tourism financing, which benefited 271 company with an allocation of 54.9 million. Besides that, there's also Penjana microcredit and also scheme pemulihan perniagaan ataupun tekun, the reskilling and upskilling program. We have 129,000 participants involved, and also we never forget the SMEs. The government provides soft loans and also fund with 11.1 million allocation that has benefited to 23,637 SMEs. Yeah. There in 2021, there are various initiatives and strategies also to support the recovery of the economy, and it's through the Penjana. We provide several initiatives to ensure the welfare of the people and the employees are also preserved. You can see there, Agrobank microcredit, okay, and then we have the technical and digital utilization support, Dana Jamin Prihatin, Cendana Initiative, Skim Penjana IPTS, Penjana Kerjaya di bawah Perkeso, and then this My Step is actually the initiative by the government where we provide temporary short-term employment we target normally the fresh graduates to enter into the labour market because and work with the government. Even in Ilmia itself, we have around 26 fresh graduates working in Ilmia as My Step personnel, and they are given the task, some in ICTs, a few of them in as research assistants and whatnot. My Step is actually based on the budget provided by the government every year, and this is actually to spur the labour market so that the unemployment rate will also reduce at the same time. And we have under KPT the Career Advancement Program under MOHI for the graduates at the number of 619,266. This is the initiatives and strategies in 2022. We have business recapitalization facility, just start financing, and we still have program subsidi upah 3.0 until 4.0. You can see program subsidi upah atau PSU di bawah Perkeso ni, dia merentasi tahun 2020 sehingga tahun 2022. It's all for the benefits and for the welfare of employees and also to sustain our employers, because dengan subsidi upah ni, majikan tidak perlulah memotong gaji pekerja sebab kerajaan akan bantu subsidi gaji yang dibayar oleh majikan kepada pekerja, dan kita juga supaya pekerja itu tidak dibuang kerja sebenarnya, ya. And then we have Penjana PACE, right? Yang ini program sure lah dalam kita punya audience ni ada tak yang terlibat dengan program KPT PACE yang saya nyatakan di sini. Okey. Ada juga skim perlindungan sosial khidmat sini di bawah Perkeso, skim perkhidmatan sosial perjalanan My50. Okey. Ini untuk Malaysia punya economic scenario dan juga inisiatif-inisiatif yang yang dilaksanakan oleh kerajaan Malaysia. So sekarang ni sebab tajuk ni nak melihat juga kita compare kepada negara-negara lain. So scenario of the world economy, we can see that the global economy is also still suffering from rising cost pressures, tighter financial conditions and stringent containment measures, particularly in advanced economy. So despite improvement in the state of global supply chain, inflation pressures lingered longer than expected due to the high commodity prices, and then competitive labour market and also strong demand. So we can see that from the OECD, the global economy is said to continue to experience challenges, and then there's also increase in the global growth aided by recovery in China and also the United States. However, it remained moderate as higher energy prices and weak real income growth restrain consumer spending. Yeah, and for the IMF, according to the World Economic Outlook, the growth is projected to remain unchanged at 3.2% in 2022 and moderated 2.7% in 2023. This is for the scenario of the world economy. Ini untuk selected countries. I would like to highlight the scenario for selected countries, particularly for United Kingdom, United States, and also our neighbor country, Singapore. The UK economy has contracted by 0.2% in Q3 of this year, with slower performance for the services, production and construction. So the services sector slowed a fall in consumer facing services, while the production sector falls in all sectors of the manufacturing sector. This is for UK. So the country is also facing a historic cost of living crisis, fueled by a squeeze on real incomes from surging economy and tradable goods prices. So the Office of National Statistics stated that the level of quarterly GDP for UK in the third quarter of 2022 was 0.4% below pre-COVID level in the final quarter of 2019. Okay, and meanwhile, for the United States, we can see that the United States economy rose by an annualized rate of 2.9%. Okay, the stronger than expected growth show the resilience of the economy as it deals with the headwinds caused by the Federal Reserve aggressive course of large interest rate hikes, in an attempt to slow the economy in order to tame decades high inflation. And in the meantime, the labour market remains strong, with employers still hiring and unemployment near a half-century low. Okay, although consumers are struggling with higher prices, okay, I think the Malaysia situation is also the same. They still continue to spend money. More than 2/3 of US economic activity is driven by consumer spending. Right. As for Singapore, the GDP expanded by 4.1% in the third quarter of this year, easing from 4.5% growth in 4.2. It's slight decrease there. Okay. Manufacturing sector expanded at a slower pace of 0.8% year on year compared to 5.6% growth in Q2 of this year. And this was supported by output in the transport engineering, general manufacturing and precision engineering cluster, which outweighed the output declines in the electronics, chemical and biomedical manufacturing cluster. That is for the situation in Singapore. I would like to show here the performance of selected countries on GDP. You can see the economy of the USA registered a growth of 1.8%. The European Union 2.4%, where the is actually a reduction compared to the Q2 of this year, that is 4.3%. And United Kingdom also recorded a slower growth to 2.4%. Likewise, the countries in the ASEAN region generally recorded the better performance in the third quarter of 2022 as compared to the previous quarter, with China and Taiwan recording 3.9%, where actually 0.4% only in Q2 and 4% in Q3 this year. Respectively, Indonesia recorded 5.72% increase, 0.2 compared to Q2 of this year, and the Philippines at 7.6%. Meanwhile, Singapore's economy recorded 4.1% growth compared to 4.5 in Q2. Okay. I would like to move now to the World Competitiveness Yearbook 2022. As we know, every year, the International Institute of Management Development, or IMD, releases the World Competitiveness Yearbook. This report actually analyzes and ranks country according to the competencies to achieve long-term value creation. According to IMD, the economic competitiveness cannot be reduced only to GDP, only based on GDP and productivity, because enterprises also have to cope with political, social, and cultural dimensions. Okay, the IMD World Competitiveness Yearbook, or WCY, first published in 1989, is a comprehensive annual report and worldwide reference point on the competitiveness of country. Okay, it provides benchmarking and trends, as well as statistics and survey data based on extensive research. Okay, so this is, as you can see, in 2022, the results for 63 countries, with a new one, including Botswana, included since 2021. And Malaysia is also ranked in this particular report. Okay. So in this particular report, you can see here the overall performance for Malaysia. In 2018, we were ranked at the position of 22, and then 29 also, 2019 also same at the rank of 22nd place out of 63 economies. And then, but for the year 2022, we are ranked at number 32 of all the nation, 64 nations that is listed in this particular report. Malaysia's performance overall, because there are 4 areas that they are looking at. First is the economic performance. Second is the government efficiency. Third is business efficiency, and also the infrastructure. Okay. We scored the highest for economic performances, where economic performances we have ranked from 15 in 2021 last year to 12 in this year. And for economic performance, the IMD looks at domestic economy, in where Malaysia is ranked at 50. International trade, we are at number 23. International investment, we are at number 25. Okay, and then for employment, we are now at number 16, and also prices, we are ranked at number 4. So this is the overall ranking per country for this particular for this IMD report of WCY. All right. Okay, this is the labor market scenario for Malaysia. We look the slide here shows labor supply and also the labor demand. Okay, Malaysia's labor market continued its recovery at a steady pace in the third quarter. So the normalization of all economic and social activities has strengthened the job market and also reduced unemployment. And in quarter 2 of this year, the labor supply, the number of employed persons rose by 3.6% to record 15.8 million persons, while employment to population ratio continued to trend up to 66.8%. Okay. In the meantime, the number of unemployed persons decreased by 134,400 people to 611,800 people, registering an unemployment rate of 3.7%. So we are actually returning to our situation before the pandemic. And looking at the labor demand in the economic sector, the number of jobs increased by 3.2% year to year to record a total of 8.68 million jobs. Field jobs, which comprise of 97.8%, increased by 3.1% over the same quarter of the preceding year to record 8.48 million. Meanwhile, jobs opening in the economy, which was indicated by the number of vacancies, posted the highest growth since quarter 4 of last year, elevated by 9.9% to 191,000 vacancies during the third quarter of this year. I would like to also emphasize these are actually yesterday, Department of Statistics through ILMIA through the Department of Statistics, we released the performance of the third quarter 2022 of our job market insights. First, I would like to explain what is job market insights. Okay, this is actually our big data analytics project. There are two types. The two types of big data analytics related to labor market information that we have is actually job market insight and job profile. It is actually a quarterly releases based on the job vacancies advertised online by selected popular recruitment website in Malaysia. It's actually the data that we scrape from 5 portals, 4 private portals, but does not include the My Future Jobs portal under the government. This is where we see the advertisement advertised, the vacancies advertised online by employers. What are the job availabilities? Where is the locality? These are the information that we scrape. Okay, and this information is published through visualization platforms starting from the third quarter of 2019. So we published this actually since before pandemic. It contains information on job vacancies, namely by type of occupation, economic activity, state, skills, and also field of studies. Okay, we have job market insights on the job vacancy, and then we also have my job profile. You can access this at our portal. It's actually an online career information portal that offers in-depth details about the occupation. You can see here from the my job profile, you can see also and median wage for each occupation, what are the qualification needed for certain type of occupation, and what are the job specification required by the employer for certain type of occupation. So that is because this is actually very useful for our policymakers and also for our job seekers to look into the labor market, which sector, which type of occupation is offered by the employers. This is the job market insights dissemination. Okay. For our both job markets inside my job profile using the Tableau platform. As you can see here, the total job vacancies reduced slightly at 5.9% from the previous quarter. Okay, from the previous quarter, we have the last quarter we have 200 over 1,000 jobs advertised online by several portals. But this particular quarter, the third quarter, we have 190,000 jobs advertised by employers. All right. This is the job market insight, the visualization which you can access at our ILMIA portal and also DOSM portal. And I would like to also touch about this My Future Jobs. That is the Malaysia National Employment Portal for all job seekers and employers. And the My Future Jobs uses AI technology and validated machine matching algorithm to provide the most accurate job match based on skills and competencies of job seekers. We can see that the number of loss of employment, because under PERCESO, My Future Jobs, we also look into the loss of employment issue under this employment insurance system. Last year, the claim for loss of employment recorded at 61,360. But for this year, until November, it cuts into half. You can see here, we received only 31,099 application to receive assistance for loss of employment under employment insurance system. And under My Future Jobs portal, last year, My Future Jobs recorded 2.4 million accumulated vacancies, and this year it is actually almost double, 4.4 million. But you must bear in mind, this is actually accumulated vacancies. That's why I put there the active vacancies recorded in My Future Jobs portal is 320 over 1,000 jobs that is available in Malaysia. We have, besides the active vacancies of 320,000, this year we have around 500,000 active job seekers in My Future Jobs. So we will try, the government through My Future Jobs will try to do job matching through various activities. Sometimes where they hold Taklimat Kerjaya and whatnot. So hopefully the job seekers will attend those career carnival, so that the government will try to match you with the more suitable job with your qualifications. And this year, the job placement, because from government, of course, we do have certain KPIs on job placement. Last year, Perkesu managed to place 20,800 job seekers into a job opportunities that is registered by the employers. For this year until November, they have managed to place 242,134 job seekers. Okay. So this is actually my last slide. What will be our way forward? Looking into the scenario that I have mentioned earlier, what are the initiatives and strategies? And I've zoomed into the labor market on the unemployment, the labor supply, labor demand, the job market insights, and in the particular session. So given the importance of labor in advancing the economy, the salaries and wages is a crucial motivator that will influence productivity. Sustained salaries and wage growth can be achieved by building an economy that prioritizes generating work with decent salaries and wages while moving up the value chain by leveraging digital solutions. Okay, this may attract the outside labor force to join the labor market and reduce the level of underemployment. So, and then we need to also go for upskilling, reskilling, coupled with the creation of more high-skilled jobs, okay? And employees would be able to demand higher salaries and wages as they have acquired certain skills of certain skill sets, okay? And then there are multiple initiatives and strategies by the government concentrating on facilitating employment, re-employment, and also social protection, okay? This is to provide social safety net for the vulnerable groups and also ensuring a decent wage among citizens. So I think that's all for my presentation. Maybe I have not exhausted the 1 hour given by the penganjur.
Mengenai tajuk yang webinar kita pada hari ini. Cuma I was interested about the job market inside and then my job profile. So I think this is good information untuk student, especially for Part 5 students. Alright, thank you very much. Okay, jadi saya rasa saya terus buka kepada sesi soal jawab bersama penceramah. Jadi mohon untuk anda semua komen di YouTube chat dan kita boleh tengok beberapa soalan. Kita akan cuba baca kan. Okay, ada satu soalan. Madam, I have a question. Ini daripada Syed Muhammad Azim Wafa, Syed Hashim Wafa. So, Madam, I have a question to ask. The question is, what is your suggestion for us as student for job security purpose? Yang itu kita ada naikkan soalannya. Boleh? Puan Betty?
Okay, what is your suggestion for us as student for job security purpose? Oh, job security. Definitely, if you ask me about job security, kan, job security ni it's not something that we can really guarantee lah sebenarnya job security. I think for students, it's more on how you want to improve your employability. And don't talk about job security yet. Job security ni sometimes dia, dulu orang kata kan, masa saya habis-habis belajar, orang akan kata masuklah kerja government, kata kerja government, stabil. Is that what you mean by job security? Okay, tapi of course definitely tak semua orang akan boleh masuk kerja dengan kerajaan, ya. sebab dia punya kekosongan pun dia terhad dan sebagainya. Tapi bagi saya apa yang penting bagi students, especially kat sini ramai yang final year students ke? Saya tak pasti. Cik Muhammad Azim ni
Ada Part 5. Ada Part 5 student.
okay. Okay. Yang pentingnya sekarang ni besides your hard skills kan yang you dapat daripada apa yang dipelajari semasa di UiTM. Yang penting adalah bila sebelum graduation normally ada internship dan sebagainya kan. During internship is for you to gain as much experience as you can, terutamanya yang berkaitan dengan apa yang dipelajari. Because yang kita belajar kebanyakannya ada masa-masanya dia lebih kepada teori. Bila kerja ni kita nak tekankan aspek praktikal. Okay? Sebab tu macam kami, kalau kata di ilmiah ni kita ada my step. Kita akan ambil my step tu, kita akan lihat bidang kepakaran dia di mana, dia belajar apa. Dan kita akan sama-sama duduk dengan dia, kita buat kerja tu so that dia boleh laksanakan, dia boleh orang kata praktikkan apa yang dia belajar. Okay. Dan satu lagi, nak masuk bidang pekerjaan ni, okay. Nak kata sebelum, sebab saya tak nak cakap pasal job security, saya pun tak boleh nak jamin job security. Kan? Okay. Tapi penting bagaimana bila kita dah graduate, kita dah intern, kita dah graduate tu, kita nak mencari pekerjaan yang bersesuaian dengan kita. It's not only qualification, tapi kadang-kadang your soft skill pun memainkan peranan. How you meet with people, sometimes during interview kan. Dan mungkin di tingkat awal tidak terlalu memilih pekerjaan. Bukanlah saya kata tak apa you masuk je kerja kilang, no. Sekiranya ada pekerjaan yang boleh memberi kalau kata pengalaman untuk berada dalam suasana pekerjaan pun at least you know when you enter into a labour market, you enter into an organisation, a working punya environment of organisation, you will know what is the expectation of your stakeholders. Lepas tu how you want to communicate certain information to your stakeholders. Kadang-kadang sekarang ni kita ada kerajaan baru terbentuk kan. Kerajaan baru ni apa dia punya keutamaan, dia nak lihat food security. So kat mana kalau kata kita bekerja dalam bidang itu yang kita perlu untuk bantu kerajaan, you nak cari analyse maklumat, nak tengok harga ke sebagainya kan. So those are important things lah. So job security can come later when you have the relevant job experience. You must accumulate experience first. Then only benda tu akan boleh mungkin menjamin job security. That's all I can give answer dalam keadaan yang ditanya oleh anak anda Syed Muhammad Azim Wafa. Saya cakap anak lah, I think pangkat anak pada saya.
Saya setuju betul, job security tak ada jaminan kan? Betul, tak ada jaminan. So betul. The next question is from the Muhammad Alif Yahya. What causes stagflation to be happen? Muhammad Alif Yahya. What causes stagflation to be happen?
Stagflation macam yang I think ada tadi kita lihat kepada definition, stagflation tu dia berlaku bila perkembangan ekonomi tu kurang. Lepas tu bila economic growth tu dia orang kata perlahan, tu sebab dia akan menjejaskan juga kita punya pasaran buruh. Bila ekonomi perlahan, maknanya bisnes pun dia tak begitu nak expand. And then bila bisnes tak boleh nak expand, peluang pekerjaan pun kurang. Kan? Sebab masa tu kita mungkin bisnes melihat ekonomi tak begitu berkembang. So dia nak expand, nak cari pekerja pun dia kata nanti my business profit tu mungkin tak dapat tinggi. So why must I recruit people? So dia tak adalah job openings. Bila job openings tak ada, ramai orang tak dapat kerja, high unemployment rate pun akan meningkat. Okay. Dalam masa yang sama pula kita berhadapan dengan inflasi. Inflasi ni pula kita gaji dapat sama je. Gaji katalah RM1,500, RM2,000 ke RM10,000 ke, tapi harga barang naik. Jadi kuasa beli kita menurun. Kan? Bila gaji sama tapi harga barang naik, jadi in the end kita punya kuasa beli menurun. So benda ni selalunya stagflation ni dia berlaku dia bersama-sama dengan inflation dan juga slow economic growth yang akan berkait dengan situasi pengangguran yang tinggi. That's how we look at that.
Okay, alright. So the next question is from Nuzahira binti Muhammad Zamri. what is the normal rate of unemployment that show the economy is still under cover? Pembetim.
Okay. Alright. Kalau sekarang ni masa pandemik hari tu, kalau ikutkan tahun 2020, 2021 kan, kita punya unemployment rate tu dah sampai tahap 4.5% and pada satu tahap lagi kita sampai 4.1%. 5.1% pun ada. I think tahun 2020 jadi 5.1, lepas tu turun kepada 4.5. Okay. Tapi untuk kuartal 3 this year kita dah sampai kepada 3.7. Okay. Selalunya unemployment rate tu dia mestilah di bawah 4%. Dia kena di bawah 4% yang mana normally below 4% is the full employment. Itu adalah pada kadar full employment, maknanya unemployment mesti di bawah 4%. Sekarang ni kalau ikutkan the third quarter of this year kita dah berada di 3.7% lah untuk quarter 3. Kita belum melihat keseluruhan untuk tahun 2022 lagi. Kena tengok pula quarter 4 kita punya unemployment rate macam mana. So sekarang ni kalau ikutkan, kalau nak kata yang kata dia tanya tadi lah undercover tu, maknanya saya faham kita akan berada dalam keadaan guna tenaga penuh sekiranya pengangguran berada di bawah kadar 4%. Okay.
Kurang. It's less than 4%. Lebih kurang lah.
Recovery from the
Kalau
coronavirus
ada
pandemic.
teori pun lebih kurang 3.8 macam tu. Okay, next question. Zulaika Azaldin. Okay, Puan Betty, recovery from the coronavirus pandemic. Okay, that's why the global economy could be ready to slow growth,
Could be
rising
ready to
price,
slow growth,
rate.
rising prices. Recovery from the corona, why the global economy could be ready to slow growth?
Can you explain about this?
Okay, sebelum ni, masa sebelum pandemik COVID kan, kita punya ekonomi is very good lah sebenarnya. Kita punya unemployment rate semua pada di bawah kadar 4% ya. Tapi bila berlakunya orang kata apa ya, kejutan kepada pasaran buruh kan, kita aktif, tiba-tiba diumumkan ekonomi tak boleh berjalan. Orang tak boleh pergi kerja. Ya. Bisnes yang selama ni macam contohlah kerja kilang kan, kilang tu bergerak nak kena ada orang kan, tiba-tiba orang tak boleh pergi kilang. Macam mana mesin nak jalan, production nak keluar kan. So sekarang bila berlaku kejutan begitu, memang bisnes tu memang orang kata totally abrupted dan memang terganggu. Sebab tu dia punya profit dan dia punya export semua ekspor. Kita punya production tak boleh nak keluar. Sebab tu yang dia akan berlaku masa tu banyak berlaku syarikat yang terpaksa gulung tikar pun ada, yang terpaksa memberhentikan pekerja pun ada. Okay. So sekarang ni bila kita dah masuk ke fasa orang kata pre-endemic kan. Pre-endemic, belum lagi endemic, pra-endemic kan macam tu. Sekarang ni sebab bila tahun 2020 kita kena PKP, semua tak boleh nak bergerak, border tutup, turis tak boleh masuk, kita tak boleh keluar kan. Okay. Dan yang pekerjaan tertentu saja masa tu adalah essential services saja yang boleh bekerja dan sebagainya. Yang lain-lain tu terpaksa tutup. So memang banyak berlaku business yang affected, kerugian dan sebagainya. Tapi mereka nak buang ada halangan kadang-kadang tak boleh nak buang pekerja nanti dah kena buang, macam mana pula gaji. Tu yang kerajaan terpaksa perkenalkan pelbagai program macam program subsidi upah untuk bantu majikan tolong bayar gaji. Okay. So bila berlaku macam tu, profit dan sebagainya menurun. Sekarang ni kita fasa pemulihan. Bila pemulihan, bisnes baru nak mula balik. Baru nak mula balik, kita pun nak melihat juga bagaimana border opening tu betul-betul ke kerajaan ni nak buka borders ni memang sampai bila-bila buka ke, ataupun adakah masih akan ada PKP. Kadang-kadang kita tengok juga bila tiba-tiba kes COVID naik kan, orang risau. Nak PKP balik ke? Nak PKP balik ke? So benda tu jadi macam mungkin kenapa dia slow growth tu sebab business tu dia mungkin tak nampak kestabilan di situ lagi. Kan dia tak nampak stabil ke? Kalau I ambil pekerja ramai-ramai tiba-tiba kerajaan kata PKP balik. Alamak macam mana? So bila tak stabil macam tu, so dia kebanyakan majikan atau organisasi akan ambil langkah berjaga-jaga. Okay. Dia nak ambil pekerja ramai-ramai pun dia tak berani. Kenapa? Kita go phases. Kita keluarkan banyak sikit dulu. Kita try recover ni dulu. Sebab tu yang dia jadi unemployment rate tu kita masih dia berkurangan tapi pada kadar yang agak perlahan, ya. Yang rising price tu dia because of the global scenario sebenarnya, yang mana Malaysia pun turut terkesan. Kadang-kadang bila rakyat kadang-kadang netizen atau dia tak berapa faham kenapa perang kat Ukraine Malaysia kena. Tapi kita kena faham kita ada import tak? Kita ada ekspor ke import tepung lah, sekarang ni kita nak import telur lah kan. Kalau kata berlaku di tempat lain, barang tu tak dapat nak dihantar ke Malaysia, bila barang tak ada, orang nak tiap-tiap hari orang nak makan telur kan, tapi barang tak ada, so apa yang ada jadi mahal lah. Sebab tu rising prices kat situ. So dia semua berkait, benda tu sebenarnya berkait. Ya.
Okay, ada lagi satu soalan kejap ya.
Okay. The difference between inflation and stagflation. Kalau ikut inflation ni memang kenaikan harga lah, dia punya rising in prices sahajalah, dia maknanya dia sendiri, ya. Tapi stagflation ni dia berkait 3 perkara sekali macam saya cakap tadi, low economic growth, high unemployment rate dan juga rising prices. Stagflation dia berlaku dalam keadaan 3 perkara tu in tandem. Inflation ni kadang-kadang dia berlaku oleh banyak faktor luar juga, faktor luar yang mempengaruhi faktor luar yang mempengaruhi bagaimana inflation akan berlaku dalam negara, macam yang saya cakap tadi lah, kadang-kadang peperangan di luar negara, it's actually a global punya price issue, price crisis lah, ya.
Betul,
How
macam
to know that country is in high inflation. Sekarang ni kita pun sebenarnya berada dalam keadaan tu sebab kita melihat macam contoh kan, orang bagi contoh kadang-kadang dulu kadang RM50 boleh beli banyak ni, sekarang RM50 beli satu bekas je dalam kita punya troli kan kadang-kadang. Kadang-kadang gaji banyak ni tapi kuasa beli kita dah makin kurang. So maknanya itu high inflation lah. Alright, itu keadaan yang kita yang lebih mudah faham lah. Tapi sebab saya bukan pakar dalam cerita pasal inflasi ni, saya lebih kepada labour market. Kalau tak saya bawa orang daripada bahagian harga tadi untuk cerita pasal inflasi ni, moderator. Macam tu.
Oh, seronok sikit, nanti mungkin kita boleh jemput nanti. Okay, next question kan. Nurul Syafiqah Muhammad Zulkifli. There is a warning by World Bank about the next year, 2023. Yang ini kita ada dengar jugalah. There is a recession by the World Bank.
Recession.
2023, they said that is an economic slowdown. So why this happen? Saya rasa mungkin Puan boleh share lebih kepada unemployment lah perbandingan inflation. Boleh je, tak ada masalah.
Kita juga nak jawab soalan ni. Why this happen? There is a warning by World Bank about next year there will be a recession. Sebab sekarang ni I think because of the issue of stagflation, the rise of price, and then economic pun kalau ikutkan macam Malaysia kita nampak macam kita punya GDP tu meningkat. Tapi kalau negara-negara lain, even macam Singapore, dia punya GDP growth tahun ni pun untuk yang this quarter pun sebenarnya menurun. Negara-negara utama macam UK, US kan dia punya ada yang strong macam tak berapa nak stabil. US sebab mungkin dia punya domestic consumption dia tinggi, that's why they are still strong. Tapi Malaysia kita tak boleh nak bergantung hanya kepada domestic consumption sebab rakyat kita 32 juta je. Penduduk kita 37 juta. So kita memerlukan pasaran luar negara untuk kita punya produk. US tu sebab rakyat dia ramai, even China pun rakyat dia ramai. Dia punya domestic consumption dia dah memadai untuk dia punya own economy. Tapi melihat I think kenapa global recession ni, because dia melihat kebanyakan negara lain pun masih lagi dalam fasa pemulihan ekonomi. Sebenarnya business pun masih lagi recovery. Sebab tu kalau sekarang kita lihat banyak yang contohnya usaha kerajaan untuk membantu golongan pekerja kan, macam pindahan akta kerja dan sebagainya. Memang kerajaan dah kata nak laksana tahun depan. Tapi kita masih melihat daripada business community, mereka masih ingin merayu kepada jangan laksanakan dulu. Sebab mereka masih dalam fasa pemulihan dari peringkat dia punya perniagaan. Dia masih lagi, kalau kata sekarang, sebab sekarang ni kalau kita macam di Malaysia kan, kita fasa pemulihan hari tu kerajaan dah umumkan kenaikan gaji minimum. So yang company nak kena absorb. Bukannya saya membantah gaji minimum, tak. Tapi kadang-kadang orang kata timing. Betul ke timing ni kita nak. Tapi memanglah berdasarkan undang-undang Memang setiap 2 tahun benda tu kena dikaji kan. Tapi sama ada dikaji, nak kekalkan ke, nak naikkan ke, tapi mungkin bila kerajaan melihat kos hidup tinggi, so tak takkan nak biarkan gaji tu rendah, maknanya livelihood kan, penghidupan rakyat tu akan terjejas. So mungkin kalau kata yang ekonomi yang World Bank cakap tadi ni, mungkin disebabkan kebanyakan negara pun masih lagi dalam fasa recovery. Dan disebabkan oleh inflation pula yang tinggi, itu mungkin akan menyumbang juga kepada global recession lah yang dinyatakan tu. I might be wrong, but benda ni tahun depan hopefully terjadilah, tapi we have to be on a standby mode lah. Sekiranya terjadi, apa yang perlu dilaksanakan.
Just warning lah by the World Bank because of the scenario sebenarnya. Tapi kita perlu betul.
Betul.
Alright, so satu lagi soalan. Dia tanya, kenapa stagflation ni?
Why stagflation is back?
Amirul Haziq.
Stagflation, kalau kata berdasarkan apa yang saya nyatakan tadi, kalau kata stagflation ni berbangkit daripada slow economic growth, high unemployment and rising prices, it is bad lah, because kalau high unemployment maknanya ramai lagi orang yang tak akan dapat pekerjaan. Ramai lagi. And I'm worried about those yang dalam kita punya audience hari ni kan, yang bertanya soalan ni, when you graduated later, ke mana nak pergi? Pekerjaan macam mana? So dalam keadaan tu berlakunya slow economic growth dan peluang pekerjaan itu tidak banyak, kita akan risaulah sebab saya ada mention tadi satu perkara kan, yang youth unemployment ni still di Malaysia adalah double digit. Yang kebanyakannya melibatkan yang fresh graduates, kita punya orang muda lah, yang pada usia 15 ke 24 tahun dan sebagainya. Dia mungkin ada structural issue di situ, ada yang setengah tu nak sambung belajar dan sebagainya kan. Tapi the youth unemployment rate is double digit masa sekarang ni pun dalam sebelum pandemik is 10.4 or something kan, lepas tu 10.4%, and then during pandemic naik jadi 12.5%. I think the later kemudian dah menurun kepada 11% ke macam tu. Tapi kalau kata stagflation berlaku dengan high unemployment, kemungkinan besar yang akan terjejas adalah youth sekali lagi. Itu yang kita risau sebab fresh graduate tak dapat masuk ke pasaran pekerjaan. How are you to accumulate experience in working conditions? In working experience kan. Lepas tu sebab sekarang ni kadang-kadang kita tengok iklan kekosongan jawatan pula, kita nak pekerja yang ada pengalaman. Kalau tak ada pengalaman, tapi dia ada pengalaman. Dia berpusing-pusing dia berpusing-pusing kat situ kan. Dan kalau tak ada pekerjaan, harga barang mahal, how do you want to sustain yourself?
Betul.
Okay, how you want to sustain yourself?
Okay, ada lagi soalan ni. Ada tak?
Yang hantar nama tu apa? Nona Q Batrisha binti Rosali.
Dia punya kelas group. Kejap
Oh,
tadi
okay.
ada apa tadi? Okay, tak apa puan.
Tadi.
Kalau ni, what is the tadi?
Should be below 4%.
Below 4% Okay, tak ada soalan lagi saya rasa. Alright. Dia sebenarnya kalau kita tengok balik, memang kesan dia adalah daripada pandemik kan puan? Maksudnya pandemik, lepas tu slow.
Puan tak dengar? Saya tak dengar puan.
Ada, dengar. Okay puan, dengar.
Dia terputus-putus tadi.
Oh, dia terputus-putus tadi. Dia sebenarnya kalau kita tengok, kita buat kesimpulan balik. Saya ingat boleh puan buat sedikit kesimpulan lah daripada soalan-soalan yang pelajar tanya ni kan, dia bersungguh-sungguh nak tanya kenapa. Sebab kadang-kadang macam puan katalah, perang antara Ukraine dengan Rusia, kenapa pula Malaysia kena efek? Contohnya kadang-kadang pelajar dia tak berapa nak faham kan. Dia tak berapa nak tahu.
Kita pun tak faham kenapa jauh sangat tiba-tiba Malaysia yang terkesan kan.
Malaysia pula kan, dulu macam Trade War, China pun sama juga kan. Boleh puan sikit, kita buat satu summarize daripada soalan-soalan pelajar ni.
Okey, sebab kita satu negara negara Malaysia ni bukanlah satu negara, kita negara yang kecil lah ya. Penduduk kita 32.7 juta orang lah berdasarkan banci yang kita buat pada tahun 2020, okey. So kita punya tenaga kerja pun dalam 15.6 juta orang macam tu kita punya tenaga buruh. Okey. Dan kita juga ada bila dalam keadaan contohlah hari tadi ada ditanya berkenaan dengan guna tenaga penuh. Bila guna tenaga penuh below 4%, maknanya kita nak nyatakan hanya dalam lingkungan 500,000 saja yang mungkin tidak beroleh pekerjaan dan sebagainya, mana keluar daripada graduasi dan sebagainya. Tapi itu yang kadang-kadang berlaku di mana kita bawa masuk pula pekerja asing. Ada orang kata, dah lah orang Malaysia tak ada kerja, bawa masuk pula pekerja asing. Tapi kadang kita lihat juga pekerjaan yang pekerja asing buat tu dalam sektor mana. Dan kadang-kadang contohlah fresh graduate, takkan dia nak kerja kat kilang contoh ya. Kan? Tapi kita pun ada juga SPM leavers yang kadang-kadang patutnya bolehlah mengisi kekosongan pekerjaan di situ kan. So ini maknanya kita punya job seekers, kita ada untuk kita matchkan dia dalam pekerjaan yang kosong tu. Kadang-kadang dia bergantung pada minat dia, bergantung pada kelayakan dia, kelulusan dia, kadang-kadang bergantung pada lokaliti. Ada masanya mereka ni duduk di Sabah Sarawak dan mereka kadang-kadang tak nak turun sini. Ada juga kekosongan, ada di Sabah Sarawak daripada Semenanjung tak nak pergi. Sama juga daripada Kelantan nak ke KL ataupun KL nak pergi negeri lain dan sebagainya. So itu pun beberapa masih lagi ada walaupun guna tenaga penuh tapi adalah yang kadar pengangguran dan sebagainya. Tapi macam saya cakap tadi, Malaysia ni bukan satu negara besar, kita negara kecil. Kita juga bergantung kepada kita ekspor produk, dalam masa yang sama kita pun import produk. Dan untuk kita punya own consumption. Ada antara yang kegunaan yang kita keluarkan di sini macam barang pertanian, kalau kata beras, kita cukup untuk keluar sendiri. Mungkin kita ada ekspor tapi sebenarnya kita banyak import juga beras. Kan? So bila berlaku, contohlah kalau kata kita import beras daripada Thailand, kalau kata contoh sumber beras utama kita daripada Thailand contoh. Tiba-tiba sana bekalan kita terjejas. Kita akan berlaku bekalan terjejas, contohlah kalau kata perang Ukraine lah semua tu kan. Gandum, tepung gandum yang kita makan hari ni, roti lah, kita pergi bakery lah, baker's cottage semua tu kan. Tepung tu daripada mana? Lepas tu sekarang isu pasal bekalan telur. Kalau dalam negara, orang kata dalam negara patut kita antara pengeluar telur yang paling banyak, tapi mana pergi telur tu kan? Tapi saya tak naklah touch on that, kita tak tahu ada kartel ke apa dan sebagainya, kita tak tahu. Tapi kita kalau bergantung benda ni daripada luar negara, sebab itu kalau kata kebergantungan tu kita tak putuskan dan kita masih bergantung, sekiranya berlaku kenaikan harga di sana, di sini kita tak boleh nak elak, harga barang tu akan naik. So dia punya sebab kita dengan negara lain di dunia ni, kita ni macam saling bergantung antara satu sama lain sebenarnya. Sebab tu apa yang berlaku di luar negara, kita jangan kata tak efek kita. Sedikit sebanyak dia akan efek kita juga. Ya. Walaupun dia jauh ke macam mana, dia akan kalau dia efek kat sana, harga benda tu kurang supply, kita pula demand tinggi di sini dan mungkin dia akan mengenakan kos yang lebih tinggi kepada kita lah nak bawa masuk dan sebagainya.
Okay Puan, soalan terakhir. Sebenarnya buat pengetahuan Puan, kalau dalam Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi ni, pengajian tinggi, maksudnya dia mewajibkan untuk dalam setiap IPT ni dia memperkenalkan subjek entrepreneurship, terutama pada part 5 lah. Dan sebenarnya di subjek ni kita tak ada fokus untuk pelajar bisnes sahaja. Tapi most the student. Okay, dan sebenarnya kalau ikutkan dia adalah satu preparation of the government lah untuk mengatasi katakan kalau diorang tak boleh bekerja. Jadi diorang boleh bekerja secara sendiri. So apa pendapat Puan berkaitan dengan entrepreneurship ni? Adakah sepatutnya kerajaan buat ataupun sebenarnya tak relevan pun?
Bagi saya lah Puan ya, entrepreneurship ni sebab semalam sebenarnya kami ada di Jabatan Perangkaan bersama dengan Yayasan Tuanku Fauziah Perlis, Raja Puan Muda Perlis. Kita ada buat macam webinar berkenaan dengan isu wanita dalam pasaran buruh, dilema dan peluang. Sebab kita melihat masa ni, kalau ikutlah sikit ya, saya divert sikit lah. Semalam isu kita wanita ni dalam pasaran buruh rendah. Di Malaysia ni kadar penyertaan wanita dalam pasaran buruh tahun lepas kita baru setakat 55.5% je. So separuh je pada tenaga kerja wanita tu bekerja, yang separuh lagi tak bekerja. Kan? So bagaimana cara kita nak paksa? Adakah kita nak paksa diorang ni bekerja? Tak boleh juga. Tapi dengan kita menambah baik suasana pekerjaan tu akan membantu menggalakkan mereka masuk kerja, mungkin juga. Tapi lepas tu kita lihat maknanya ada di antara ahli panel pun yang mencadangkan melihat kepada entrepreneurship. Ya, yang mana entrepreneurship ni sebenarnya lebih ramai yang terlibat dengan keusahawanan actually you are creating jobs for people. You pun mencipta peluang pekerjaan. Tapi of course sebelum nak jadi entrepreneurs ni, kena adalah dia punya kemahiran dulu. Sebab you entrepreneur ni bukan setakat okay I ada duit banyak ni I nak jual. Resilience, you kena buat you punya orang kata apa kajian pasaran pun dia kena tengok what is in demand kan. Kalau kata kawasan lokaliti tempat contohlah duduk Putrajaya, kita tengoklah penduduknya ramai perempuan ke ramai lelaki, umur macam mana. Kalau kata tiba-tiba ramai perempuan lepas tu nak jual vape, contoh bukanlah vape yang lain lah, yang kalau kata alat untuk macam make up ke untuk lelaki dan sebagainya, tapi kat situ ramai perempuan, macam mana you punya market kan. So maknanya entrepreneurship is something yang digalakkan sebab dia akan mampu mencipta lebih banyak peluang pekerjaan. Tapi sebelum masuk kepada entrepreneurship, kena adalah melalui mungkin berbagai bentuk kursus lah untuk kita lihat dari segi aspek pengurusan kewangan, ya. Lepas tu kalau kata kita nak mengambil pekerja pun bagaimana kita nak handle HR dan sebagainya, so kita kena ada knowledge lah. We start small tapi benda tu kalau boleh sustain lebih better lah dalam keadaan tu. Definitely you need knowledge, and entrepreneurship is something yang memang kerajaan galakkan. Sebab tu kita ada yang Kementerian Pembangunan Usahawan dan Koperasi dan sebagainya untuk membantu lebih banyak kita mencipta usahawan-usahawan yang mana ini akan dapat membantu menambahkan lagi bilangan peluang pekerjaan.
Okey, terima kasih Puan Betty. Ada komen lagi tak? Sekejap saya tengok kan. Alright, saya rasa dah tak ada lagi soalan. Okey. Alright, sangat bermakna. Memang saya rasa sebenarnya dari segi data-data ni kita memang naklah direct sebenarnya kan. Sebab budak-budak kita fokus pada pelajar sebenarnya sebab diorang ambil subjek makroekonomi. Jadi fokus pada macroeconomic problem. Jadi memang unemployment ni adalah salah satu. Dan saya tengok pula Puan memang bahagian statistik punya department. So memang kita nak data supaya pelajar tahu yang ini sebenarnya macam ni. Okey. Jadi saya rasa kalau tak ada apa-apa lagi soalan, saya mohon untuk sesi fotografi Jadi untuk
kita boleh
ambilkan gambar. Mungkin line tak berapa okey Puan. Okey, kita ambil gambar alright. Puan Betty dengar Puan Betty? Okey, kita snap sikit gambar. 1 2 3. Okey. Sebelum mengundurkan dirinya, bunga seroja di atas para jatuh ditimpa buah berangan. Andai kalau saya ada tersilap bicara, kemaafan saya dimohonkan. Jadi bila parang lagi diasah untuk menebas belakang perigi, adat bertemu, kita mesti berpisah lah. Lain masa insyaAllah berjumpa lagi. Mungkin kita boleh jemput Puan. Puan kata bahagian inflation tadi Kalau Puan boleh bagi nanti saya boleh. Sebab penting juga lah sebab kita memang fokus pada inflation dengan unemployment insyaAllah. Jadi dengan ini tamatlah sudah webinar kita pada sesi pagi ini. Saya ucapkan terima kasih Puan Betty kerana sudi untuk share pengalaman, information kepada pelajar-pelajar kita insyaAllah. Kalau kita ada masa-masa akan datang lagi mungkin kita boleh collaborate lagi. Puan Betty. Terima kasih Puan Betty.
Okey, terima kasih.
Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jumpa lagi. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum. Saya untuk para pelajar mengisi attendance. Kita ada form attendance sebelum kita ada lebih kurang dalam 15 minit sebelum sesi ni ditamatkan. Nanti korang tak dapat nak link tu, nak isi link. Jadi cuba tengok dekat YouTube chat box. Alright, ada satu link G-form. Isi G-form tu, so you akan dapat attendance link kat situ. And then finally you akan dapat certificate. Alright, untuk proof you attendance untuk hari ni. Jadi for your kind consideration and cooperation, thank you very much. Alright, because to ensuring the smooth flow of our session today. Thank you very much. Alright, and in advance.